Hello guys, hope you're good. So recently I actually had a conversation with a friend, Damilola. So we are talking about the different skin types that exist in nature. So she actually was asking why is it that Africans majority usually have a darker skin color. I tried as much as possible to re-explain, give her reasons, and she was happy about that conversation. So this is what is making me to actually make this video. That conversation spurred me to make this video. So I want to explain to you why majority of Africans usually have a dark skin color. There are a variety of reasons. It's not just all about melanin production. Let's look at the first one. In biochemical factors, we begin to look at melanin production. Under melanin production, we begin to look at the enzyme tyrosinase, melanocytes, UV radiation. Now, and still under that biochemical, we're looking at melanin types, eumelanin and pheomelanin. Now, I will take them one after the other to explain what we are really looking at in this particular situation. So we begin to look at melanin production. And when we are talking about melanin production, we have what we call tyrosinase. There is an enzyme called tyrosinase. Now, what tyrosinase does is that tyrosinase is responsible for the catalyzation of the conversion of the amino acid tyrosine to form melanin. Now, there is an amino acid called tyrosine. Tyrosine is among the 21 amino acids. If you've not watched my video on amino acid, you can go and try it. We have what we call glycine, we have alanine, we have valine, we have leucine, isoleucine, methionine. Are we together? There are more of them, 21 of them. So tyrosine is one of these particular 21 amino acid. So we say that tyrosinase is that particular enzyme that catalyzes the conversion of tyrosine amino acid into what? Melanin. Are we together now? Now, that is the function of this tyrosinase, help in the formation of melanin. How does it form melanin? It catalyzes the conversion of tyrosine to form what? Melanin. Now, we have melanocytes. Melanocytes is a specialized cell. Now, these specialized cells contains what we call melanosomes. Specialized cell contains melanosomes. Now, what is the function of these melanosomes? Melanosomes is responsible for the production and storage of what? Melanin. So when we're talking about tyrosinase, remember we're talking about melanin production, and then I've mentioned tyrosinase, which is the enzyme that catalyzes the conversion of the amino acid tyrosine to form melanin. Melanocytes contains melanosomes. What is the function of this melanosome? Melanosome is responsible for the production and storage of what? Of melanin. Look at the melanin I'm talking about. Melanin is a skin pigment. Are we there? It's a pigment that is found in our skin. Now, UV radiation. We're still talking about melanin production. What causes the production of melanin in our body? I've mentioned this particular enzyme. I've mentioned these specialized cells. And then I'm talking about UV radiation. UV radiation is gotten from the sun. Are we together? Now, when there is presence of UV radiation, what happens is that this specialized cell called melanocyte will signal to the melanosome, say, hello, hello, melanosome, can we produce melanin that will protect the skin from the harmful effects of UV radiation? I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. UV radiation is harmful to the skin. Of course, it can cause cancer. So during UV radiation, melanin is produced. How is melanin produced? Through the activity of melanocyte, signaling to the melanosome, say, let's produce more melanin to protect the skin. So that is that on the melanin production. Now let's look at the melanin types. Now in the melanin types, we have eumelanin and pheomelanin. When we're talking about eumelanin is a type of melanin that is responsible for the black and brown pigments. Eumelanin is responsible for the what? Black, eumelanin, black, and what? And brown pigments. Are we together? This particular melanin is found in individuals with darker skin tones, Africans. Now, this particular melanin is found in their skin, what? Pigments. Eumelanin is found in individuals with what? Darker skin tones. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. Now we have pheomelanin. Now pheomelanin is actually a type of melanin that produces the red and yellow pigments. Now it is usually found in individuals with lighter skin tones. Now, if we come to this particular man here, we begin to see that we have these melanin types for dark people, for fair people. Are we together? Black and brown, their pigment is called eumelanin. Red and yellow pigment found in lighter skin, we call them what? Pheomelanin. That's the type of melanin present. Now, let's look at the genetic factors. Now, when we are looking at genetic factors, what we're also looking at is, the genetic constitution that tries as much as possible to affect this melanin production. we've talked about biochemical production, biochemical reasons why melanin can be produced, when it can be produced, and what affects its production. Now, under this biochemical, we look at melanin production and melanin types. So in this melanin type, you're saying that it's not every individual that you see that will have the same melanin. So when you see an individual with darker skin tone, there is a reason why they have a darker skin tone. Which type of melanin do they have? They have eumelanin. When you see an individual with a lighter skin tone, you understand there is a reason. Now, under genetic factors, what we are looking at is what is the genetic contribution in this melanin production. So under genetic, we have MCIR gene. MCIR gene simply means melanocortin. Melanocortin receptor 1 gene. Are we there? That's the meaning of MCIR gene. I'll call it MC1R gene. Are we there? Call it MC1R, MCIR, melanocortin 1 receptor gene. Now, we begin to say that this particular melanocortin 1 receptor gene, what it does is that it tries as much as possible to regulate the amount and type of melanin that is produced in the body. It's a particular gene in the body of an organism that regulates the amount and the type. What are the types of melanin? Pheomelanin and eumelanin. So it regulates the amount and the type of melanin that is produced in the body. So when there is variations, when there is changes in this particular gene, there will also be changes in the type and amount of melanin that we produced. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. That is to say, for a dark-skinned person, now there is a variation in the MC1R gene. Are you getting what I'm saying? So in a nutshell, what we are saying is that MC1R gene has a way of affecting the type and amount of melanin that is produced in the skin. Now, when we come to other genes like SLC24A5, what does it mean? SLC24A5 simply means solute carrier. Are we there? Family 24 member 5 genes. Are we there? We also have SLC. Let me write it here. I also have SLC45A2. That is solute carrier family 45 member 2 genes. Now, all these genes also, what they do is that they are more like precursors for melanin production. That is to say, for any type of melanin that we produce, it is dependent on these genes. So the type and amount of melanin that we produce in the body of an organism is already dependent on these genes. Solute carrier family 24 member 5 genes and solute carrier family 45 member 2 genes. So these are other genes apart from the MC1R gene. Are you getting what I'm saying? Now, that is that. Now, in evolutionary adaptation, remember, we're still talking about why a majority of Africans dark in complexion. How is it that Africans have been able to adapt to this environmental condition? Even though there is too much sunlight, in the north, people still survive. People still, stay strong. People are living, people are surviving. But when you get a white man to the north, before you know it, they will develop a risk of what? Skin cancer. What is the secret? Now, in evolutionary adaptation, we say we have protection from UV radiation. I told you initially that when we have UV radiation, which cell will be produced? Melanocyte will signal to melanosome, say, hello melanosome, let's produce melanin to protect the skin. Now, that melanin will protect the body. This happens for both dark and fair skin colors. Now, that is that. We say folate production. Now, remember that UV radiation has a way of affecting folate production. Are we together? That is why for dark skin colors, we have a high concentration of folate. What is folate? Folate is another name for vitamin B9, which is folic acid. Are you getting what I'm saying? And this folic acid is responsible for growth and development. Are we there? It helps also during pregnancy. So, folate production is not affected. Why is it not affected? Because UV radiation is not being allowed to enter the skin. Are you getting what I'm saying? Melanin protects the body against this UV radiation. I told you that UV radiation affects folate production. So because melanin protects the skin from the UV radiation, it does not affect this particular folate production. And folate production helps in growth and development of an organism. Now, We have vitamin D synthesis. When you were studying your basic biology, we learned that the sunlight, morning sunlight gives us vitamin D. That is absolutely correct. It's not a crap. It's right. Now, when we're talking about morning sunlight, remember that sunlight contains also UV radiation. As I said earlier, when there's UV radiation, the skin produces what? The melanin. How does it produce melanin? Melanocyte, which is the specialized cell, will signal to melanosome, say, hello, let's produce melanin. Melanin will be produced. Now, if we look at vitamin D synthesis, now during vitamin D synthesis, the melanin does not allow this UV radiation to pass through. So it is a bit difficult for vitamin D to be synthesized using that sunlight because the melanin is protecting the skin from that UV radiation. So as this melanin is preventing UV radiation from affecting the skin, it is also helping the skin to balance. How is the balance happening? Remember that it is very rare for Africans to have what we call skin cancer. Why? Because the skin, which contains the melanin, is preventing this radiation. This radiation causes skin cancer. So because the melanin is not giving this man opportunity to come and explore, it is actually preventing this man from causing skin cancer to our what? To our skin. So that is the balance. So what I've been trying to explain so far, I've been trying to give you reasons why our skin is dark. So we begin to look at your biochemical reasons, how melanin is produced in the body. We begin to look at the melanin types. We look at genetic factors. Are we there now? In genetic factor, we look at MCIR gene. We look at what? SLUC45A2. We look at SLUC4A5. Are you getting what I'm saying? And then we'll come to evolutionary adaptation and vitamin D synthesis. So that is that on why majority of Africans are dark in complexion. I hope you got a value from this video. If you have any question, don't forget to ask in the comment section. I'll be the first to answer. See you again in my next video. Bye for now.